K-State coming off a big win. Just any thoughts on the game headed into tomorrow night?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I love playing rivalry games, and I think our players will too. We didn't really touch base much yesterday on scout report with K-State, just because that was kind of an off day for us. But we'll be serious and get after it today and spend a lot of time on them. And you know, they're coming off. They're probably. I mean, I haven't seen every game tape, but they're coming off arguably their best performance of the season. And they dominated a team that we struggled to you know, to eke out a win. So that got our attention for sure.
Hey Bill, is there an update on Jalen and kind of how he's going along?
He practiced up and down a little bit the other day, but I still think we're a couple of weeks away from determining whether or not he'll try to come back this year. I personally see value, and he wants to come back. I mean, he would like to come back. His parents are good with him coming back. And I see value that he could potentially help our team. But I'm not going to put him out there and lose his year unless I'm confident and he's confident that he can be part of our rotation moving forward. And so, I mean, we're still probably a couple of weeks away from determining that.
Has he been able to do anything that would give you an indication?
No, not yet. No, when I say go up and down, I'm talking about, you know, a few possessions and block out and break or something like that. But we haven't stressed him to the point to know that if he is physically ready to help us. Nor, I mean, I personally think, you know, you take 3 months away from the game, you know, how it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get your rhythm and your timing back too. So we're trying to rush it to determine that, because if he is going to play, you want him playing as soon as possible. But on the flip side, if I'm not positive that he's going to impact us, then I can't see a reason why to do it, and we're not going to know for a couple of weeks.
How about from the mental side? Sorry, Chris. You know, just knowing offense, knowing what you guys do. I mean, any of that, any indication there?
I think he's really bright.
Yeah.
So I think he'll actually pick up on some stuff quickly. But that's part of the 2 weeks probably. Matt letting him run with the first group and see if he can do it. And we don't even know yet if he's 100% healthy. I mean, you know, part of that is conditioning. Part of that is a lot of things, and he hasn't even tested to the point that he knows that he can be explosive. So we're still ways away. But the mental aspect, I think he can pick up on that pretty quickly.
Bill, in Big 12 play, granted your offensive numbers have dipped a little bit, but your defensive numbers really look strong. Can you just kind of put those two together and tell us where you think we're at?
Well, I think that I think our league is the best defensive league in the country. I think every year you go into league play and your numbers always drop. Offense every year, it makes no difference because the competition steps up. And you don't have certain games in during your non-conference season that skew how many points you really score. I've always been a believer on us. If you're going to look at our stats, just look at our league play and look at the 5 biggest non-conference games. Don't even look at anything else. Or in our case this year, it could be 6 or 7, but I wouldn't even look at anything else. But Monmouth throws ours out of kilter a little bit because you hang 112 in that game. That's not who we are, even though it's nice to see that we have potential to do that. I don't think our offense is very good. But I texted with the coach yesterday. He said the best way for many offenses to look good is to play poor defensive teams. And that's not going to happen in our league. It's not going to happen. I mean, I watched K-State play at Texas the other day, and you guys may have saw the game too. K-State falls behind early because Texas has to shoot 2 Hail Marys at the end of the clock, and they both go in. Hepa made one, and I think Coleman made one to start the game. And so, I mean, you can't guard better than that. And so it'll be just like that tomorrow. It's gonna be a grind to get baskets. I also think this, when teams aren't quite as good offensively, and I've had many over the years, especially back at Illinois, I mean, many, aren't quite as good offensively, then you put that extra emphasis to be great on the other end. And you know, teams take pride in it, and this league certainly has, you know, all the teams taking pride in it. And I just think, you know, I said the first one to 60 at Texas, which ended up being true. But you know, hanging 70 in a league game this year, I think, is going to mean that you played very well offensively. I just don't think there's going to be many games like that.
Coach, could you just comment about Doak's performance on Saturday and his progress this season, and what Saturday's game, a performance like that can set him up for the rest of the season?
Well, I don't think it was just Saturday's game. I think it was Tuesday's game, which led into Saturday's game. And I think you guys have all seen it. He's become not a good defender. He's a really good defensive player, and you know, he's being so much more aggressive. He's trusting his feet. He's from an IQ standpoint, is really understanding when to try to block shots, when to stay down. I mean, he's starting to understand and get it. And his ball screen defense has been really good. Now, we've done some things to make it easier for him on his ball screen defense, but still it's been very good. And I know our players have a lot of confidence that when they do get beat, that they've got a guy that can cover for them back behind them. But I'm just amazed with his athletic ability. You know, to be that big and to slide his feet like that. He had some possessions against Texas that I thought were probably about as good a one-on-one defensively as you can play.
Coach, K-State's featuring a lot of freshmen this year, guys like Dejuan Gordon, Montavious Murphy. What have you seen out of them when you've studied them a bit that maybe stands out?
Well, I think they're good players, and they're going to be real good players. I mean, there's no question. You know, whenever there's turnover and you lost players like they have, and we've done the same thing here too. You hope like heck that you have a really good recruiting class in the years in which you lose numbers. You know, if you remember, we lose all 5 starters, but we happen to recruit Marcus, Markeith, and Tyshawn. And there's been other instances like that. Well, this was K-State's opportunity to do that, and they definitely made the most of it, because those guys are going to be starters for them for years. You know, eventually when they all get into it and everything. And I'm impressed. I think they played beyond the years, but this is a thing that I would look at and say, without knowing them personally or anything like that, hey, the way they handled West Virginia and their pressure and all that stuff is impressive for an 18-year-old to do that's never gone against that before. So that was very impressive to see.
How tough is your backcourt, Marcus and Devon?
I think we're tough in some ways. I think we can get tougher in other ways, but physically, I think we're pretty tough, and mentally, I think the guys, you know, they get a lot done. You know, this is sad to say, not sad, but this is a true statement that I'm not really proud of. Is that offensively against Texas, we had 3 guys try to score, try to do anything. And so when you only have 3 out there that's aggressive at all, and one of them never touches the ball unless he catches it 3 feet from the basket, that puts a lot of pressure on 2 guys just to be aggressive. And they were able to go score 36 points or something like that way, when you knew that the defense on the other team was designed to stop those 2, because our other guys weren't aggressive. And so I think they're tough in that regard, but I also think that's not best for us moving forward. They need to be able to continue to do what they do, but they got to get some help as far as other guys stepping up and being aggressive and taking the pressure off of them to go make a play at the end of the shot clock. You know, I really believe that's going to be a telltale sign whether or not we become a really good team, is whether or not you know, 5 guys out there you have to guard as opposed to just a couple.
Does the offense surprise you? I mean, that your guys haven't kind of been that?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about it is, we've shown flashes.
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt about that, it's just not been consistent, but I know we got it in us, and I know individuals have it in us, and those sorts of things, so I think we'll continue to improve moving forward. I still think that we're young in many ways. You know, Isaiah's, he's done well, really well, but even though he's old, he's new to me, and he's new to us, and he doesn't really probably have as much confidence as maybe Devon does about it's okay to be aggressive and screw up. But sometimes guys just wanna play safe, and playing safe, you know, gets you beat. You gotta go take it, and you gotta go push the envelope, and there's times, you know, you wanna be semi-conservative, but not to the point that I feel like our guys are playing just to kind of be safe. And if teams are good defensively and they're able to pressure you, and you kind of have that mindset, you don't get much done. And certainly, I think that we got plenty good enough players to be more aggressive.
I also want to ask you, did you find out any more about Marcus and what happened to him, and then also how's he been? Or how
Oh, he's
is he?
fine. He's, from what I heard, telling Jeff Rank, talking with Jeff, it wasn't a head.
Okay.
It sounded like it. It was a shoulder. And what happened is he got, you know, like many people do in football, he got a stinger in his arm went numb. Isn't that what happens, Dave, when you get that?
Hurts a lot.
Yeah.
For a short amount of time.
For a short amount of time. And his body went numb, and then after he kind of got himself back together, they went back and checked him and said he was ready to go. So, we were fortunate with that.
And just in general, what do you think about your guys' transition offense?
I don't think much of it. I think it's the worst that we've had in a long time. I actually thought it was a little bit better against Texas. I think we ran out and got, you know, 4 or 6 points, you know, that you didn't have to earn. But I don't think it's very good. I don't think we run as well. But I also think this. I mean, this is also true too. When you play OU, they send 4 back. You know, it's a lot easier to run if teams crash, but it's also a lot more difficult to rebound. So you know, you send 3 or 4 back. Defenses are set. There's not that much. So the only way you run is off deflections, off of steals and things like that. And you go back, and we had back-to-back games where we forced 5 turnovers. So I think it's better than what it's been here of late. But I think the way that teams are guarding us and attacking us is also eliminating the missed shot transition. Because I think defenses are pretty well set by the time we get the ball across half court. At least that's the way it's been of late.
You mentioned Isaiah kind of playing it safe. Was that the case the other day? I mean, he played a lot of minutes, but only took 3 shots.
Yeah.
So
But
it wasn't anything
I don't
defensively.
necessarily mean taking shots.
Yeah.
I necessarily mean putting yourself in a position to get shots. You know, moving at a pace that the defender has a harder time recovering from. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can, you know, if you got a guy open on the post and it's a 90-10 pass, you don't throw it because you're worried about the 10. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about.
What are you looking to see out of Ochai on Saturday?
Well, the same thing we look to see every day. I mean, I like to see it personally on Tuesday before Saturday, because today's Monday, isn't it?
Right.
Okay, so we play tomorrow, but I'd like to see it on Tuesday. But just to be aggressive. I don't care about scoring points. I don't care about missing shots. I don't care about that. But put yourself in a position to impact each possession. And I think he has the talent and the athletic ability to do that on both ends. And the other day, I didn't feel like he did that as much, but we know he's got it in him. He's done it too many times. But that would be something I think that would really help our team.
How did Devon respond after the game, and how is he feeling?
We didn't do much yesterday, so and to be honest with you, I didn't even ask him. Because, I mean, he played 39 minutes and looked 100% to me. So, and I didn't see him wince once. So I think he got tired, and I know he's sore. So if he got hit, it's sore. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's fine. I don't see. I haven't been told anything by Bill, our trainer, that there's any type of setback whatsoever. Because I thought he looked really explosive on Saturday.
It looks like you guys played a little football yesterday.
Not play, we just
Right.
kinda did a little obstacle course type deal.
Have you done that before, or was that Chiefs fever, or what
It was Chiefs fever. We looked at our schedule, it was Wayne Simmons' idea. He told me they did it back with the Heat. Pat Riley did it, so right around Super Bowl, and our schedule next Sunday, we can't do that on Sunday, we play Monday, and the following week, we can't do that because we play Monday, so this was our only time really to do that, and I was pretty impressed. I thought DeJuan showed some real capabilities as quarterback, and I think David has the best arm on the team, so that was good, and Silvio, believe it or not, had the best hands. Yeah, he said that he actually played football, practiced football at IMG whenever, and put pads on and everything at IMG, and you guys know IMG has the best football program in the country probably, so that was actually something that I didn't know he had in him, so that was good.
Tight end?
He said he's a wideout, which he may not know the difference between a tight end and a wideout, but he said he said, no, I play wide receiver, and I didn't get into it with him. I said, is that the one that lines up right next to the tackle? But he could be you look at that body, he could probably be quite a tight end.
Anything else?
All right, guys.
Yes.
Oh,
Jess.
well, just last one. I wondered, you talked about how you have to play the 4-run lineup a lot, but you've still been starting David.
Yeah.
I just kind of wondered in general, just your thoughts. on
Okay,
that.
I've actually thought myself about that. Well, the reason it's been that way, like after even going into the Oklahoma game, is because we didn't know if we'd have Devon. And then even going into Texas, you know, if you make a decision to start Isaiah instead of David, that's fine. So you prepare for that, and David's out, and I didn't know how that would mess with his mind, and then tell him Devon can't play, and now you're starting. So I thought it was best just to leave it status quo, so you're only messing with one guy, as opposed to messing with two. But moving forward, I'm not saying this will happen tomorrow, because I doubt it will, but we know that our 5 most productive players on the floor is with Isaiah in the lineup. We know that with the other 4 starters. Stats, analytics prove that out. But still, though, even with that being said, I think there's some things that David brings, and from a chemistry standpoint, I think up until this point, it's still been best for us to go the way that we've been going, because you're still going to have ample opportunities to have that other lineup on the floor. So that's the primary reason. But it's something that I think is fair, and I've actually thought quite a bit about.
It seemed like you were happy with David's play the
I
other
thought
day,
David,
too.
see, if you look at it now, this is why you shouldn't get hung up on if a guy has a good game, he starts, and a guy has a bad game, he doesn't. Because David the other day was probably better. He just has a different type of role. So, but I know what I hope for, and it doesn't have anything to do with who starts. It has everything to do with how are we able to be successful playing 2 bigs, because we're going to some, and then how do we maximize the opportunity to play small, which we have to the majority of the time. And we're still going through a process of trying to figure that out. But I do think getting some offense off the bench hadn't been bad for us.